Okay, so I'm going to show you how to fix a hot water heater for like 50 bucks. Okay, every year you should probably be flushing your hot water heater. There's a faucet down here at the bottom, and you can hook a garden hose to it and run the garden hose outside, and with the water on and the breaker off, you're just going to let water run out in the yard for about 15-20 minutes, and that'll flush all the calcium out of the bottom of the hot water heater. When I came in, first notice I had was my wife was telling me the hot water was running out really fast in the shower, and then my lazy ass was starting to get around to it, and then finally I noticed that the water was like boiling hot. When you turn the faucet on, you could burn yourself. So I knew something was up, and I decided to actually go in here and remove the cover off the wall, and I had a fire. So this is the thermostat that I took out. It's burnt to shit. Every terminal is burnt. There was flames shooting out of this thing, but yet it was still making a connection, and it was heating the hot water heater. So I'm going to show you what to do. I've already done the work, but I'm going to show you how to fix this for like 50 bucks. 30 if you already got tools, but I'm going to show you what to do. And you should probably do this every few years. These hot water heaters last about 5 or 6 years before this stuff starts happening. And you can make them last a lot longer if you do the annual maintenance by flushing them out, making sure there's no leaks. You can see that over the last year, this thing started leaking. And it started leaking right here at the upper element. So there's an element here, a thermostat here, behind a cover that's held on with 2 screws. And I've already got that off. Obviously, if it's original screws, they're usually a 1/4-inch drive or a slot. These have been replaced, so they were like Phillips screws. There's another cover exactly like it at the bottom, which covers up another heating element and a smaller thermostat. Okay, so you have one in both places. Now, if you're running out of hot water really fast, it's usually the bottom. My theory is if you're going to work on the bottom, you should do the top. Just do all the maintenance at one time. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So once you figure out that you need to do this maintenance, the first thing you want to do is find your electrical panel. Open it up, and over here, they should have marked, the different appliances. Now this one says water heater right here, and I go down, and there's the breaker. All the breakers are on this way, so I flip this one off. And so I turn the breaker off. The next thing I wanted to do was flush it out. So I put the garden hose on and ran it out to the backyard. And in this case, I left the water on to just flush it out. And then when you start to work on the unit, you need the water off. So you could go outside and turn the water off. But this unit, when I put it in about 10 years ago, I put a ball valve in here so I could turn it off right here. And so I've turned the water off. Oh, there's one more symptom that we had, and that was water was running out on the ground. And it was coming out of this pipe right here, which is the blow-off valve. So that water was getting so hot that it was steaming off and making this valve blow off. And that valve is vented here so it blows off underneath the house. And so the water bill was high, the electric bill was high, and when I went out to check, it was all wet on the ground under there. So we had, let's see, what was our symptoms were, the hot water ran out fast, bottom element, the water was too hot, top thermostat, and it was blowing off the valve, which is also the thermostat. So here's what you need to do the job. You need a straight blade screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. You can see I picked the straightest one I could find. It's only going 4 different directions. Where's the camera at? So you can see how bent that one is. So I got a straight blade screwdriver, I got a Phillips screwdriver, and I have a tool that I've had for 25 years, and it costs $5, maybe $7 if you go to an expensive place. And this is a universal electric hot water heater element tool. Okay, so it fits every one I've ever seen, and you put a screwdriver through the hole to turn it. Okay, so what we did was we came in here and flushed the system. Then we turned off the water and we opened up the hot water faucet so that we had no pressure on the system. And then I just started removing these elements. Now, I've already done it. There was a lot of work on this top one. It was frozen in there. And so we put WD-40 on it for most of half a day. Still nothing. And so I had to get a long rod instead of a screwdriver so I could get more leverage through that hole on my element tool. And once I put this 2-foot rod in here, actually it's about 1.5 feet, then I got enough leverage to break that rusty old element out. So the bottom one just unscrewed by hand. The top one was a little bitch, but we got it out. So I changed both elements. Did take a picture of all the wiring before, top and bottom, so I would have a reference point. So I took some cell phone pictures so I would know where everything went, even though I had a pretty good idea where it was going to go anyway. Now the next thing I wanted to do was change the thermostats. And the first thing I noticed was my upper thermostat, the one that caught fire, it was just hanging in there. There's nothing. These tabs are what locks it in, and there was nothing to lock it into. And you can see I have the new one sitting in there right now, all wired up so I can get a hot shower tonight. But there's still nothing to hook the clips to. The original one comes as part of the hot water heater. But for $3, I ordered one online, and I'll put a link in the description for all the stuff you need. And it just, the one I ordered, it's going to slip right over the outside thread here. So I'll have to turn the power off, remove these 2 wires, slip the new clip over that, and then it'll lock this down. But it's going to be fine the way it is for now. Okay, so we changed the elements. That was easy. Top and bottom, they're the same element. These are the curly ones that I took out this time. But I put straight ones in, and just as long as they were the same wattage and all that information is like on the side of the element. You can see the writing there. It'll tell you how many watts. But if you can't read that, there's a label on the hot water heater that tells you that information as well. So you need to know how many watts. It's nice if you know the brand and the model number, because that's how I found my parts. Now I was able to get, I went to my local hardware store, and they wanted $12 a piece for the elements. And they wanted $30 for this top thermostat, and they wanted $25 for the bottom thermostat. So that was going to be close to $100. And the new hot water heater was $580. It was almost $600. Well, it would have been $600 with tax. Then I thought to myself, my hot water heater is not leaking. Just one of the seals was leaking. So if I can flush the tank out, I can just replace parts. I got a kit for $29.99, and it looks like good quality stuff. And I'll put a link in the description. It came with both thermostats, both elements, new gaskets. Did not have the clip, but I ordered a couple of new clips just for the heck of it. And I'll put a link for those as well. So it was $29.99. The clips were $3, so we're at like $33. I assume you can find a screwdriver laying around. And this tool, I'll put a link for it there. You're going to be, around $40. If you have to go buy a screwdriver, maybe you'll be around $50. So that's the do-it-yourself electric hot water heater repair. Now, a couple things when you go put this back together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to close that valve down there. And then once that valve is closed, you can open your ball valve or the outside water, whichever it is, and let the tank fill up. And you'll know the tank is full because whatever sink you have open on the hot side will start spewing water and air out of it. So once the air is all out, that means it's pushed the air up out of the tank and out the hose to the faucet. So then you can close the sink. And then once you have done all of that, and before you put this cover back on, you can put the bottom one on, but before you put the top one on, go to your breaker, turn the breaker on, make sure everything looks hunky-dory, and you should relatively quickly start to hear a sizzling as it starts heating up the water. And if you hear all that, then you go back, turn the breaker off again, and then put your cover back on. Once you have the cover on, you can turn the breaker on for a final time, and you should have hot water in about 20 minutes. So if you're in a mobile home or a house with electric hot water heater and this kind of thing happens to you, a lot of us don't have $600 to lay down for a new hot water heater, and I didn't. It was right after Christmas, so $40 was a lot better. I always have $40. So thanks for watching the video. If you like it and share it and subscribe, I will really appreciate it. So save some money. Save $500 by fixing your own hot water heater. Hey, that sounds like a good title for this. All right, this is Richard. Thanks again. I'll keep sharing stuff. Have a great day.